Hello, everyone, and good evening, Toronto, and welcome to MaxZep Show. Another episode, new discussions, new test series, and let's see how we are going to talk about tonight's show and discussion. And we will also touch base what we discussed yesterday and some predictions about the first day and at Galle and first day at Brisbane as well, the four test match decider. Before I introduce my guest, I would like to mention a few things that uh, you are watching Next App Show, which is currently live on YouTube on Sports Strat channel. You can watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, and also on IPTV on your own favorite channel, Sports Strat. You can please like us, follow us, and also share, do ask comments during those live transmission calls. So at least we will see encouragement from you guys that, and also suggestion always welcome from your end as well. And you can ask any question related to cricket, anything from any teams from any continent or anything or any ask questions. I do feel confident that my panel is well equipped and they have lots of experience that they can answer your question confidently. Let me start with my sponsors as well. My first sponsor for the day is Fazan Law Professional Corporation, a full services law firm expanding our expertise because you matter to us. Fazan Law, you can contact him 905-277-2555. He's expertise in family law, immigration law, wills and estate law, real estate, and civil and criminal litigation. My second sponsor for my show is tonight is RSEC Sports. You can buy and you can if you want to buy any sports equipment, especially with cricket or anything sports helmet, uniforms, custom uniforms, or sports sublimation, please contact RSEC Sports 647-461-3110 and email address is info@rsecsports.com. Please like and follow his page as well, Facebook page and Instagram page as well. Definitely, and if you need any sort of discount, please always mention the sports trend and please contact Sultan Bhai as well. My third sponsor of my show tonight is Mohammad Rameez, your Honda guy. If you want to buy any new car, specifically Honda, or if you want to trade in any Honda cars, please contact him 416-569-7249. He works at Classic Honda Brampton, your Honda guy. 416-569-7249. Before Okay, I have few before I start my show. I would like to introduce my panel of guests because lots of people ask like who are these people, why they always talking about cricket. So I would like to mention like few things about my panelists that they all coming from good professional experiences and plus also passionate about the cricket as well. So I would like to introduce first of all Sajjad as a profession. He's a professor in Centennial College and majors in environmental geosciences and certified engineer technologies as well. Being a passionate about cricket, he is also a cricket coach, managers of Ajax Cricket Club, and he used to represent big clubs of Toronto, for example, Victoria Park and Ajax. My second panel in tonight's show is Kaisa Chaudhary. He's a federal law enforcement officer. He also possesses the fireman license basic power engineering. As a passionate about cricketer, he has played in Pakistan domestic as well as in England South Asian League 2011, represented Saskatchewan and Manitoba in Canadian T20 League as well. Currently he's representing one of the biggest club of Toronto, Mississauga Dolphins. Plus, he is also a port committee of Mississauga Dolphins as well, and honorary board of directors. Definitely, I'm gonna ask one of the questions in tonight's show related to him. My third guest of tonight's panel is Jeffrey Noel Freshwater. He born in Victoria, Australia, and moved to Canada uh, back in 90s. As a profession, he's working for Town of Ajax. As a passionate about cricket, he played at the highest level of club cricket in Toronto, TDC, and played for a few top clubs in Toronto. He's a right-hand batsman and right-hand swing bowler. He used to be bowl quick fast, but these days, as he mentioned me off camera, that hey Max, I'm not super good, but it's okay. Bajat Kazan, my fourth panelist. As profession, he's a barrister and solicitor, licensed with Law Society of Ontario. He's one of our sponsors as well. Thank you, Bajat, for being on the show. Academically, he holding two law degrees issued in the United Kingdom and honors bachelor degree and master degree in oil, gas, and energy law. That's good, fantastic, Kazan. My last guest of the show is Sultan Khan. As profession, he owns RSEC Sports, Canadian owned and operated, which specializes in sports equipment and apparel based in GTA. As passionate about cricket, he represents Rambus Cricket Club, one of the biggest cricket club in Toronto as well. So, guys, if you see, let me welcome all of my panels right now. Oh man, you guys have a detailed introduction and very strong background. So, welcome.
Thank you
Except
very
I'm
much.
getting old and slow.
So, people ask me like sometimes, like off camera, like who are these people, like, and where they associated. So, I have to do some research
No,
because
that's
look,
okay. Saji, I still swing it big, don't I,
Yeah,
buddy?
yeah, it swings. He's got some good outswingers.
that's good. So, let me start. Show. I mean, definitely we are going to touch base tonight about golf first test match and also first test match. Fourth test match is happening in Brisbane, which is a series decider. So let's start with let's see, do we have any comments? Okay, sure. Okay, so let's start with Sri Lanka and England test match. Yes, Fazan, what do you think? How England batted first day? That they showed that the aggression that what Sri Lanka missing out on the first day, they batted on the second day.
I think England, you always expect them to stand tall and take the advantage after they bowled out Sri Lanka for 135 odd runs, and drive home the advantage, taking forward the score. So they always, if you see from the start of the day, the intent was to bat and bat long innings. Probably the intent, as we spoke about Australia game as well, is to bat once. So I really felt that both the Australian openers, along with the other team, took pride from their bowling performance and translated it into their batting. They did try to maneuver around the bowlers of Sri Lankan team according to their own batting mental. And I also felt that Sri Lanka was all over the place in terms of their bowling tactics. There was no game set plan looking forward into the Test match for Sri Lanka. I think they were underprepared. With a newer management with Mickey Arthur, Sri Lanka will have to take a lot of effort. It will take a lot of effort, and they'll have to look at other templates, as we spoke yesterday about the Test match that is going around the world. That teams strategize session by session. And as much as strategy was evident in English batting today, it was lack thereof in the Sri Lankan bowling. And I felt that pretty much England has driven home the advantage with the 150 odd lead. I do not feel Sri Lanka coming back into this Test match anytime soon.
Okay, thanks, Fazan. Sajjad, I want to take your opinion on it. I mean, did the way Joe Root batting, do you think uh, can we consider him in a top five batsman right now in Test cricket?
Yeah, the way he batted this last game or this current match is quite impressive. Also, consider the fact that it's a bit of a turning wicket, and it's not really conditions that are suited to English style of batting. So he's really showing himself to have adjusted very well. I'd also like to point something else out. I don't think he's had a century in a while, unless I'm wrong. He needed this century. I think there were a lot of question marks in recent times that his conversion rate was not as high. Like, for example, if you look at somebody like Labuschagne, a very high conversion rate. Kohli has a high conversion rate. Pujara, but I think that Root in recent times has not shown that level of conversion rate. And the other thing that I think helped Joe Root is Lawrence's batting. If you watch how they batted well together, I saw the highlights. I wasn't up all night watching them, but I did catch some of the highlights. And I find that sometimes your batting improves. You have a good batting partner.
Okay, Kasper, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Max.
Kasper, I mean, do you think like uh, as after this tour of England versus Sri Lanka, England is traveling to India. Do you think that they are trying to get the best of it this tour and then utilize it in the India series that they are batting right now, doing the long batting. Even they are not in hurry. Like even in a day they scored like they just lost couple of wickets and they scored less. So do you think like they want to do a test practice rather than playing a match because they know they will win? Do you think that they are getting a good practice right now?
Sure, I believe that I will take it as their preparation too for India. India is always, whenever you are in India, it's a big tour, and it grabs a lot of attention all around the world. I want to touch base with three, four different points. The first one is I see the big change as Mushi was their coach, and then Chaklan, and I believe they worked very well with them. They give them the real coaching how to bat against these spinning wickets and the spinners. It has changed all of a sudden. Look at their even one day side. Look at their test side. They are really flourishing. It's a huge change. Second thing was look at all the teams. The teams build around the aggressive players. Take it from Kalu Vidurna to Jay Surya. They build their team. The next team was around them. Look at Herschel Gibbs. Look at Galle, Australian, and Matthew Heron. And sadly, only the Pakistani team was unable to build around Afridi and his aggression. And as I said to you in the Sydney test, Rishabh Pant inning 95, that killed the whole test. That was the draw right there when he took the aggression back to Australians. And that put the Australians on a back foot. Only Pakistan was unable to build a good team around the aggressive batting of Afridi and the good bowling of Shoaib Akhtar too, but unfortunately. And last thing is as Fazan said it yesterday, the strategist. That's the key position right now with the management of every country's team. You see, right now, as he said, test is kind of it's a session to session. And when it's tough situations, it's going neck to neck. I would say it's 10 to 15 overs. Your team has to change the strategy if you are not successful. And I believe that's what Australian kind of did yesterday. They tried to slow down first, and they took their time. And then when they were kind of settled down, they flourished their run rate. They increased the run rate quite enough that they can stay competitive in this inning. They flourished their.
That sounds good. Okay, so Sultan bhai, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Max. Thank you. Pleasure every time.
Okay, so Sultan bhai, do you think like yesterday we were talking about how Sri Lanka batting is getting weak and weak, and even the fast bowlers, but like I remembered whenever we talk about Sri Lanka, only two things come in the mind. One is the fielding, second is their spin bowling. And yesterday, I mean, or even today in the or like earlier in the day, like the way they're bowling is not up to the mark. Like what's happening? Like, do you think like it's a lack of experience and lack of skill, or Mickey Arthur is not performing the way he performed in Pakistan by coaching Pakistan?
Yeah, I think there's a lack of something that you can see in Sri Lanka right now. I think it's more of a teamwork. Maybe the structure has issues, like some Asian teams do have such problems internally. Like Pakistan has some issues. See, they have individuals, very skilled individuals when it comes to cricket. However, it's not a team performance in recent days. Sri Lanka playing in Asia was always a worry to the opposition, but apparently it seems like that era is over. They have to rework, rethink, and they have to regroup on certain areas. Well, I mean, in the field, you can tell with the body language and the way they're bowling that there's a lack of planning, and I think they have to focus on their strengths. I think they're all over the place right now, and I think there's no clear direction. That's what it seems. Mickey Arthur worked very well with Pakistan. I don't know why it's not working out for Sri Lanka. Hopefully, so they come back and become that dangerous team that always give run around to anybody that they play. Sri Lanka was always a delight to watch. They always gave a very good cricket, competitive cricket, and for the viewers, for the fans, for cricket overall, I hope to see that soon. But right now, I mean, looking at this test match, I think there's something that we don't know, but there's something missing.
Okay. Hey Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Max. Great to be here again. Thanks.
Thank you. So Jeff, before we touch base Australia and India series, I want like next 10 minutes, let's quickly discuss Sri Lanka and England series. Do you think England will do a whitewash in this whole series and it's like a one-sided?
Yeah. I just think they're too strong for them. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to have a tough time. I think they're going to Sultan talked about, their depth. If you look at their IPL series or their Big Bash that they have, the standard of cricket there is subpar. So the depth coming up is not there at the moment. And you look at their test squad, it's lacking 2 strong batters and maybe 1 or 2 pin bowlers. Like it's not quite there. Like the Sandrakaras aren't there anymore. Murali, they don't have a key that's locking it all together. So they've got to rebuild from deep within the country again. And I just don't think they're doing it. I watched some of their games. It was just crazy. There was no. I know IPL and all that is smash the ball, but their technique behind the hitting was crazy. Some of their shot selection was crazy. Their bowling was all over the place. They were misfielding balls that should have been regulation. I think that's where they've got to go back to. And like the T20 is huge, a great founding group for cricketers. Look at Dave Warner, for example, right? It shows players, it gives more players the opportunity to get exposed to pressure and become better players for it. I just think that's where they've got to get back to and rebuild for the next 3 or 4 years.
Sure. Thanks for your comment. Before I take Faizan into the conversation as well, I want to take some few comments which people are commenting on Facebook. Adil Ahmed, thank you, Adil, for joining us. Would like to see Toronto Police representative on the show someday. I want to say, yesterday I was reading a news that WhatsApp have that some privacy that they are not sharing any information, but I don't know why you always get the information when people talk about on WhatsApp. So your game is up right now. Okay. And Priyansh Chaturvedi, Vaji, what's up? Vaji, is your
Max? Can I answer Adil's question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Adil, for you especially, as you have mentioned, we are looking forward to get a full intro from a Toronto Police representative. We are trying to do at least a full program for their founders, co-founder, how they started, how they are going, and what they are doing right now. Because last year they were able to have a special ground for Toronto Police. So we are looking forward to it, and we'll announce it soon.
Yes, that's why, Kasser bhai, I waved this question in a joke way because I want to make it like some sort of surprise. But Mr. Adil Ahmed, he always a 2 step ahead. Yes, Farrukh bhai, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Sorry, I am late. I just got stuck delivering some hoodies to some important people.
But didn't get it. Sultan, did you get it again? He didn't deliver it to me.
Okay. Whitby is out of bound. Whitby is out of bound.
What's wrong with Whitby, Max?
No, don't worry.
Hey, on that question of the Toronto Police, if it's any consolation, I played a couple of games for the Toronto Police, so you sort of have a little bit of a representative there.
Okay, here you go. But don't worry, when we have a Toronto Police, I will take you in a surprise call. Yes,
Richard Moore. Anyone heard of the name Richard Moore? No, probably a long time ago. I'm talking 15 years ago. He was a celebrity. He was a great guy.
We lost some pace. Don't take us lose our brains, man.
Yeah. Say Toronto Police, the problem is they go play, and if the other team beat them badly, the people start getting tickets from all over the place. So, yeah, you need to talk to Aamir Butt and Mansoor and all those people.
My story wasn't good. I had a few beers with them after the game, and they gave me one to take in the car on the way home. I didn't know it was illegal over here. And now, I'm talking 20 years ago when I came over here for a 3-week vacation.
Then Jeff, you must know Raj Singh.
Yeah.
Might do.
He's kind of a very founding member, one of the founding members.
Right. Probably. I met so many people, it's hard to remember all of them, cousin. But I remember driving on the 401 with the beer in between my legs, drinking it. So, and my father-in-law was a police officer. He was not happy when I got home.
There you go.
Contact Vajad Faizan, and I just finished watching all the season of Suits. So I'm pretty big 25% lawyer myself. So
I
want to take the opportunity to thank Farrukh bhai, as it was going to be a Facebook post for you, especially for the hoodie.
Yeah.
and the merchandise and also the mask that's always there. So Farrukh bhai, really appreciate. Even though I just stepped in once you just got out, so really appreciate that.
Anyway, I'm going to pass.
Make a hoodie for Jeff.
So these mugs are for
That's-
favorites, eh?
Not for the favorite guys. As soon as we get the new mugs, we'll do
Okay.
it. I think get back to the cricket.
Guys, get back to
Fazan,
the cricket.
Fazan, your face sharing will be less from today, as you got
Guys.
the cup as well. Max is still showing his cup without sports trends tag.
That's what I'm saying. The host of this like show representing Sports Trend, he's look the founder, Mr. Farrukh. He's using Sports Trend, and I don't want to say something. Okay, let's move on to my favorite person.
The thing I drink in this cup cannot be transparent, so it has to be,
Oh,
Milk.
that's why we have.
Milk.
That's why we have. That's
Jeff would love such a cup, I guess.
okay, guys. Let's take a last comment.
Just before you go ahead, I just wanted to, Max, say hi to my old friend Priyansh. He was my first ever teammate when I came to Canada. So Priyansh, hi to you. Long time haven't met him.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good.
Thank you, Priyansh, for joining us. Please do share our live stream and do ask question anything about cricket, not about Fazan. Okay, you want to talk to Fazan? WhatsApp is there. Okay, Hamadin Akbar. Okay, Hamadin Akbar. Thank you, Hamadin. It's been a long time, man. Where are you? It's been a long time. I didn't see any comments or any questions. So please ask questions for tonight's show. Okay, Farrukh bhai, before we jump into Brisbane, we were talking about how England is performing and how they are batted like significantly and scored like good run. Even Joe Root set an example. If you want to score 100, do a big 100, not like just getting out. So what do you think? Talk about Joe Root.
It's good, man. I haven't looked at all these things yet, so I'm just sticking to my yesterday's comment that Australia will score somewhere around 350.
So you want to comment
For
on
other
it?
stuff, Joe Root is already at 168, and he will definitely go because like the big players, when they play, they go big. That's all I can say right now. Where is Martin? England is doing so good.
Yes, Martin is, I think he's occupied somewhere for his personal thing, but definitely he will join us tomorrow and day after tomorrow as well. Okay. Okay, Hamadin Akbar comments. I had lots of work. I have exam. That's why good luck, man. Because yes, you are in the age of that studies are important for you. So definitely please come back after your exam is over. Gul Race, Khalid Khan. Actually, I don't have Bajat Fazan WhatsApp number. You can contact Bajat Fazan.
Adi, Max, you have kept me so much occupied through the show. Nobody is contacting me on WhatsApp.
Okay. So you can contact Fazan 905-277-2555.
Max, I wanted to make a small comment on what Kasabai was mentioning about the strategist's role. And if you see in today's game here, because India is going to be without Saini, Australia has adopted that strategy. There are 6 people sitting in the dugout who are doing different strategy sessions, especially with Australian team. So, and I think this role will be something we will see more in the coming days with the Big Bash League or the PSL or the IPL, and slowly this will grow into the cricket team culture with different countries and boards as well.
Sure.
I want to add on that just a point. I think that T20 cricket that gave us that segment thing, and all the teams, they are assessing it through their core that if in T20 what we can achieve, what we can do is beyond our understanding and imagination. If you go back 10 years, whatever the cricket was, it's totally changed. It's evolved so much, and that strategist thing is totally coming in from there, like 20 overs, and now they can break in even in one days in a 20 overs segment and say, okay, that's our goal, that's what we have to achieve, and then go back and goal it or refurbish it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our discussion to Brisbane. I think because Galt has, I think England is going to win comprehensively one-sided match, but definitely we will touch base tomorrow for England and Sri Lanka match. Yes, Martin is busy and Farrukh bhai, and he said that he will join us tomorrow. So definitely we will talk about more about England. Okay, I have a question before we properly start Australia India series. one question: How many catches dropped by Indian team yesterday? Starting from Sultan Bhai.
Yeah, the ones that I've seen was two, and both of Lambashin.
Okay, wait, let's see because I have the numbers. Yes, Jeff, do you know how many catches dropped by?
Well, yeah, Laverton was dropped twice. I think Green was dropped also. I think he might have been dropped twice. I'm going to say 5.
5. Okay. Yes, Mickey, welcome to the show, and Sajjad bhai, welcome back. So Sajjad bhai, I just ask a question before we talk about detailed discussion about Sajjad bhai. Are you there or is stuck? I think he got stuck.
He's stuck.
He's frozen.
Okay, sure, frozen. I think Mickey.
He's meditating. It's okay.
Mickey, can you hear us?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, Mickey, I just asked a question from my panelist and my guest. Do you know how many catches India dropped yesterday?
I think it was 4 or 5.
Give us one number.
Labuschagne was dropped a couple times. I'll go 4.
Okay,
I
4.
don't know.
Yes. Okay, Vajat.
5 catches.
Do you know how?
Labuschagne twice, Green twice, and I think they dropped Payne once.
Okay. Farrukh bhai, do you? Okay. Kasper, welcome back. Kasper, can you hear us?
Yes.
They dropped.
Sajjad bhai, sorry, Sajjad bhai.
I can hear you.
Sajjad bhai, ask a question before we start talking about England, Australia, India. How many catches they dropped yesterday, India?
I thought they dropped a couple, right? I know that one. I think the first slip was too short. I mean, he was too far back.
I think he dropped. Farrukh bhai, do you know?
Yeah, and also that's when he strained his knee.
Okay. I think he's.
Sajjad is having issue today with his,
Okay, I mean,
internet connection.
I think the catches they dropped, the proper catches they dropped 3 catches. I mean,
Yeah,
yes,
they dropped 3
You didn't ask me, eh?
Oh, sorry, Kasper bhai,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
I'm sorry. I know.
It's
Yes,
okay.
Give him a ticket, man.
No.
We got Sultan too.
Yeah, sorry.
I think three was main, like as their new bowler. He dropped one, Rihani dropped one, and Rishabh Pant and the first slip. Those were 3 main, I believe, the proper chances.
What about the caught and bowled off green?
That's one I said that their fast bowler, new
Shouldn't
bowler.
have dropped that, man.
That was
bowling.
easy. That was easy.
I was
But
saying
you know
it was a
very well.
hard catch.
Rahane dropping. I think
Rahane
That was Dolly.
Yeah, Rahane dropped the game, I think.
But that was quick too.
Okay, before we talk about detail, I will start with Jeff and then move forward. I have few good comments and then definitely we'll talk about.
So funny you should say about drop catches. I got a good story about that.
Oh, sure. Go ahead, Jeff. Yeah.
So I played in a grand final at King City. I can't even remember who we were playing, but we were chasing 206.
Which year?
And we were sorry?
2006.
Which year?
This is
2006.
we were playing Premier at this stage, I think.
2006.
And, so I batted at 5 or 4 that day, I think. And we were 4 for 32, I think. And I came in to bat. And then ended up we were 7 for an 87, chasing 206.
Wow.
And I was at 27. I cut one to Galle, straight to him. And it went in his hands and out. And he was a South African. And I turned to him and I said, "You just dropped the World Cup, buddy."
Oh, okay.
I went on to make 110 not out. They had this import in from, it might have been Sri Lanka or something. He was quick. And I flat batted him over his head for 6. And I made 110 not out. And I was close to being run out with 5 runs to go. This guy came on and was going to injure the umpire. I'm not going to say what he was going to do, but it was not good scenes. And then ended up, I hit a 4 and we won the game. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. Catches win matches, boys, and a couple of ones they dropped is not good.
So it's been 14 years, and you still remember that moment that he dropped my catch and I made the 100 and we won it.
That's a deals 96, man. You can't forget that.
No, man, it was 2000 and it was 2007, 6 or something. Yeah, 15, 16 years ago. Well, you remember a highlight when you make a ton, buddy. That's for sure.
That's a limelight.
100. So I made 110 out of our score was 210, I think. So I made over half the run. So, but everyone batted around me. It was a great game, man. Great game.
Well, going with that point, I think Payne dropped last game.
Cost him.
when he was at 3 and made 97 at the end. I mean, goes to show that you got to hold on to your catches. You got to create the chances. Bowlers can only create the chances. You
Mickey,
got to
this is
hold on.
Mickey, this is Test cricket. It's not club cricket, right?
And 2 times.
Yeah.
Spain dropped him twice.
I don't want to dig in more as Pakistan dropped 60 catches in the one match. So.
I need to take a bucket on the field because that's for sure.
Yeah. So before I take some comments, so Jeff, we have like people from different clubs and they are representing their the committee and everything. So please take Jeff but make sure expect 100 when he got dropped couple of catches in the when he okay.
Not anymore, I believe. He's old. He's too old now. Jeff.
Isn't that what you just said?
Yeah. I haven't made 100 in probably 5 years, I suppose. So yeah.
But our president can still he can hit a for to get it to 100. 96 is very usual.
Yeah. So Sajjad will tell you that I have not practiced at the club for 10 years, and I made hundreds without practicing. So
that's the talent, eh?
So that's the talent. That's what I think captains of Dolphins. That's what they do. Anyway, Sajjad is saying Australia will declare at T. Okay, what do you think, Faizan?
No. I think not today. Australia will want to bat today, maybe 10 overs, 12 overs before the end of the day today with tired Indians, 510, maybe. I'm looking at 450 plus on the board if they don't get out. And then put Indians to test at the end of the day tonight or early morning fresh tomorrow. I do not see India putting Australia under pressure in this game for now, at least.
Yes. Okay, so Danbhai, wait, Mickey, I will take you. So Danbhai, what do you think? Like first day, I think what we were talking about. I think first session when Australia looking so tired, and Farrukh bhai even joked like, "What you guys expecting from Australia?" Yeah. Do you think like 2 test matches start within 72 to 96 hours? That's why we see that India is dropping the catches. The energy is not there. What we seen in second test match, what we seen in the later part of third test match, and I lacking behind in fourth test match. You see India's lacking behind in it.
Yeah, it could be. You can't say for sure dropping catches because that of course they're tired. There's been long games, and this game has some significance. Lots of key players are out. There's some debutants. There's some pressure, but also they have a very good chance to at least draw the series. Or let alone if they played well, they could win. But that could be one thing. But I think it's more of just the nature of the game. Like the catches that were dropped, they were not easy catches. Yes, the one that Rihanna dropped was the easy catch of all. But others, like it's just if they were catches, they would have been like exceptional catches. So I won't say that. But yeah, there's lots of injuries on Indian side. And I think it could be because of the weather. Weather is extremely hot, 32 plus, and people the muscles are giving up on the players. That's what is happening to Saini. That happened to Bihari, and these things also come and play a role in your psychologically on you too, right? When you see your side, lots of key players are out. Then your strategies usually your planning is around those key players who are the match winners. Like Bumrah is out. Ashwin is out, Jadeja is out, all these big players, Bihari is out. So now they have to regroup and re-strategize with the set of players in the squad playing this test match. So yeah.
Okay.
Somebody wants to say.
Sure. So Kasser bhai, what do you think? Like yesterday when we were talking about, you said like India, this bowling, we cannot like expect too much what they did in second and third test match. I think you were right that. And they showed us lack of experience, maybe.
I think, as I mentioned, it's a lack of consistency. Like you learn through the game, you develop your game by playing it, and especially international cricket, you can be sitting on the bench for 10 years, but the playing on the ground is totally different. The performing is different. I think with the drop catches, I want to touch base with that too. It could be excitement, and the happiness of doing well, that both things can trickle. I believe that's playing a bit of part, that they played and they were playing so good. I don't want to say the lack or they were tired, because that's what the professional cricket is all about. And if you see Pakistani and Indian domestic players, they play a lot of cricket and in extreme conditions. I don't think so that the tiredness should be a question. It's just my observation.
Okay. Sultan bhai, is your internet is working fine now? Oh, Sultan bhai, sorry.
Yes, it's working fine now. Can you hear me?
Sure. Okay. So Hamadin Akbar asking a question about, I think let's take a couple of comments on Sri Lanka and England. Is there any reason why Jimmy Anderson is not playing?
I think they have a rotational policy. They don't play everybody every test match that England is playing. And also, they want to rest him for the Indian series. They want him to be fresh for that. I think that Archer is not playing either. I think Archer not playing is the bigger question. I don't think that it's too surprising that Jimmy Anderson isn't playing. These pitches are not really made for his bowling. As long as you have one of the three, Broad, Anderson, or Archer, and then you use the other players, especially the spinners in Sri Lanka. England, I find they change their tactics when they go to South Asia, or depending on the pitches, they will focus on spin. Having two players like Bess and Leach gives them that option.
Correct. Okay, Mickey. So there's a question comment from Priyansh Chaturvedi. I think India needs a new fitness regime for the whole year, not just when they are playing. If one of the things COVID has taught us, it is the need to keep the body moving. Yes, Mickey. Do you agree, or do you have any other comment on?
Absolutely. They have NCA in Bangalore where they train before the tour, any tour that starts up. But even as players, as we're all playing, we have to take care of our own fitness anyway. Like even during COVID, Rohit Sharma and all these guys, they were posting, oh, we're doing these running exercises, or even any kind of stretching exercise. So keeping our body fresh is important for us. But yes, India does have a fitness regime. They have NCA, they have coaches there that actually help you develop your game. And also, India A tours a lot to Australia. So going with Jeff and Kasarbai's point, that fitness and fatigue should not be an issue at all. Because these guys tour to Australia many times before. Siraj, Sundar, they've been to Australia many times on India A tours.
Okay. So I think Sultan bhai, it's a comment for you. Vanita Somer, what next for Brampton Pacers? Thank you, Vanita.
What's next? Well, Brampton Pacers is one of the teams that I play with and recently presented Canada in US Open. So there's huge plans, domestic, international, all year long, and we're working on it. It's just that some of the plans are interrupted because of COVID lockdowns. As soon as it's over, lots of plans, especially in US, all year long, including 2021 US Open, because we have already registered to that tournament. And there are a few more in Columbus. There's one in Chicago. There are a couple more. One is coming in Texas, and there's a chance for one in Houston. So that is for US. And here we have a KL tournament, and we have a Niagara tournament, and other tournaments as they come and they're available, which have the same competitive level that we play. Definitely, we are participating in each one of them. We're not gonna let go of anyone.
Okay, thanks, Vanita, for asking, and thanks, Sultan, for explaining detail. Yes, Jeff, question for you. Uwais Khan, he's from Pakistan, and he's like, I think it's 5 o'clock over there in the morning. So he's saying cracks on pitch will become wider, and Nathan will play a key role. Do you think Brisbane pitch supports the spinners, or you will say drop in?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if this is a drop in or not. Does anyone know?
I don't think it is.
No, they said it's a crack early. So
yeah,
Lion will have a big key coming probably day 4, day 5. So that'll depend. We talked about whether they declare early today or not, but I'm not sure whether they will.
No.
Maybe they want to bat them out of it and then see. But do they want their bowlers to bowl 4 days, right? Lion has shown that he can bowl a lot of overs, so he's right. Lion's the key here. They're really, India don't have a key spinner really. They've got a young blood in there, You guys are talking that they've got a lot of young players, but also the Australian team is not solid either. They've got another new opener. Wade is sort of finding his ground. Green's doing the same. The only thing they've got is a strong bowling attack compared to India, who have some young guns, right? And sometimes young guns will bring you something that an old guy might not, because they want to prove something.
Okay.
So
sure. Okay. So welcome, Aamir. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Okay, good. Thanks for joining. So, Aamir, what do you think? First day, as you see my poster, India drop catches. Do you think that these drop catches cause the series, or it's too early to say?
I think it didn't cost them the series so far, but because I don't know if you guys checked the weather, there is going to be thunderstorms today, and the weather will be clear tomorrow. But after that, it's just rain. So there is a high probability that this test match would be a waste at the end of the day. But hats off to India. Despite dropping those catches, they were able to take 5 wickets the first day, right? So with the young bowling attack, that was the key. But Labuschagne and Smith provided that resistance that Australia needed to stop the flow of the wickets, and now you see Tim Payne following the suit as well. So I think they are in good shape. Australia is in good shape to score big, but I don't think there would be a result for this test match.
Okay. So, Kasabai, let me get back to this question again. Do you think that this Brisbane pitch will support spinners on 4th and 5th day?
I'm not sure, but I believe the positive sign from Australian should be that how Sundar bowled. He was very economical and he picked up a couple of wickets. That's a kind of a good sign for Australian spinning point of view. And as if weather permits and the game goes for 4 days, we should have some result.
Sure.
I have a comment to make, Mazhar. I think from yesterday's day, one key positive that Australia will be looking at, or that particular player would be feeling confident about, would be Wade. Because Wade eventually got runs which mattered for Australia. That 100-run partnership gave Australia that breathing space. And I think that would take the pressure off Wade going into the season for the other series. But I don't know if he'll be able to persist with his own position in the team. I do feel that it was mighty needed. Otherwise, Australia would have collapsed the way Indians were chipping off wickets every time a new bowler could come in and bowl. So one person who would go off to the bed sleeping well, along with Labuschagne, because he provided Labuschagne the space to go on and score runs.
Sure.
One person who would be sleeping well yesterday and would be happy today to see Australia go past 400 if they do, should be credited is Wade. I do believe Wade came up handy for Australia.
Sure. Mickey, question for you. Such a blunder done by India. Kuldeep Yadav should be in the team, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw that earlier as well, and a lot of the commentators were mentioning that Australia does struggle against left-arm spinners, left-armers. So, I mean, he's been there on tours before. They haven't been utilizing him as much as what I like, or even an Indian fan would like. But yes, one thing I liked is that they changed a couple things. One was bringing Natarajan, because I'm starting to be a big fan of him, because he was good in the IPL. He was he had a good T20 series as well, T20 series. But yes, Kuldeep definitely. But I think Sundar is doing a fantastic job. He is very economical and he darts them in really nice. But yes, definitely missing Kuldeep here. They could have played an extra spinner here and try to rattle them even more.
Okay, so I want to add one guest here. He's gonna quickly ask the question. He's from Pakistan, Karachi. Welcome, Owais. Owais, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
So Owais, please ask a question.
My question is, Mickey is sitting here from India. So my question is, I want to ask why Kuldeep is not in the team.
Oh, he just answered. He just answered. Do you have
Kuldeep
any other
Yadav.
question? He just answered.
And
Yes,
Mickey is
just
from
answered.
Canada, not from India.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, Mickey is wearing Mississauga Dolphins cap. Yes, Oves, do you have any other question? He just answered about Kuldeep Yadav.
Oh,
And then I have a story for you guys.
okay.
The reason of
Easy
the
boy.
reason of the
Wait,
reason
Sajjad,
of this question was I was looking the pitch. The crack on the pitch was very wide.
Mhm.
So in 5 or 4 days, it will be harder for
Sure.
I
Australia
want
and
to I want to touch base on that. I believe Indian, because of injury and they lost a couple of good batsmen,
so why Kuldeep?
so
Yes, yes.
they pick Sundar, as we all know that he's a good all rounder. He's a very good batsman as well. I believe that's the only reason.
Yeah.
Kuldeep is not obviously he's not up to the mark
I
if he
think,
comes to batting.
in my opinion, Kuldeep is more a white ball bowler than a red ball bowler. Yes, Sajjad, you have something to share with us?
Because of how he was confusing us with the
We
Canadian.
can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Now we
No,
can.
better. No,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Yeah, because he was confused as to whether Mickey was Canadian based or Indian based. When I played my first game in Pakistan, they actually told the announcer that I had just moved from Zambia, but I had lived in Canada. So the announcer was told, and this was pre-team. It's an official match that the announcer was told we have a Canadian player. He announced to the crowd that we have an Indian player because he didn't really register. And the thing is that in Pakistan, if you tell them you've got an Indian player, especially at the time in a small town like Gujranwala, they went crazy. And all of a sudden, I was like the superstar, and I only scored 2 runs.
So Sajjad, I think you should go back and ask a Pakistani domestic cricketer to correct the records that they are saying the first time ever
Yeah, yeah,
Indian
yeah.
pacer is playing in domestic cricket.
Yeah, an Indian player is coming over. Well, the thing is that everybody loved Indian door because we used to fly a lot of kites to string. And so back then, there was a lot of cross-border black market goods going back and forth. And even if you look at the Indian history of cricket players touring Pakistan, people love seeing players from India.
Yeah.
Like Banerjee used to get, what was that? That player used to get, he had his own fan club following him every game. And if you listen to Ganguly, he talks about how the people loved the Indian players when they were in Pakistan.
That's what I was about to say. The Dhoni is a example, prime example.
Yeah.
Because they're very different, right? Very wristy, right? Like Dhoni's
Yeah.
a huge wristy player.
Yeah.
Right? They're seeing something they've never seen, and it's amazing. I think
I
Sajjad
believe
had the same.
Mustafa one time said that don't cut your hair like I did it like
First
Dhoni.
time.
Yeah.
Many.
He's right. That was in the final of the Hajj Cup when he gave him the trophy. He said, "Don't cut the hair. I like your hair."
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of people from India don't realize how much their cricket is loved in Pakistan.
Correct. Okay, guys, back to Brisbane. Yes, sir. Kassar, you saying something?
I was saying, like, even look at back the Kapil Dev, hugely respected, Sunil Gavaskar, Sehwag, Tendulkar, everybody, Vivius Lakshman. We all appreciate them, and they're for sure. They have their
Dravid, the wall.
Dravid. Yeah,
Correct.
we all love them to see.
Indian player we do not like. Let's talk about. We are already talking about which we like. Let's talk about which one we did not like.
Well,
Any-
sometimes,
Farrukh bhai, let's
Kiran More.
sometimes,
No, let's look. This question is valid. This question is valid when Mickey have 3 or 4 people from his back home. Then definitely it's a good.
Actually, one
good
thing I want to
question.
say, I want to add when the women's T20 happened in India.
Nikki, bring your camera up.
Sorry. Women's T20 happened in India. The Pakistani team was based in Delhi. And this is a news that came out a couple of years ago. And all the Delhiites were actually, I'm from Delhi myself. All the Delhiites actually, showered them with a lot of appreciation. Like this came out a couple of years ago, I think, in the news. And the Pakistani woman, actually, the captain said that we were so happy to be based in Delhi. I mean, that's the spirit that actually both sides have. And
I'm just glad the Pakistani women can win a World Cup game against India.
I don't know about that.
Okay, guys, I think we are going out of discussion right now. Okay, Jeff, comment on this. Hamadi Akbar is saying, also, what would you guys say about Steve Smith rubbing out Parents guy? I mean, I don't know.
So there was discussion on whether it's the same Steve Smith with the ball tampering and everything else. And I think we talked about it the last couple of conversations on your show about sledging, right? It's just a new sledge. To be honest, that's the way I see it. You've got to be careful on your comments and everything else. So I gather this guy must mark his crease a lot. For Steve Smith to go up and cross it out, just to get in his head a bit, go, yeah, you better keep marking this because they're going to scrub it out. Not that I agree with it, what he did, but I sort of get where he was going with it. He just, he's just sort of trying to get into his head because he was batting so well that the sledging wasn't working, obviously. So I think Steve Smith thought, okay, let's just scrape out his mark here and see. But that didn't work either. So,
Okay. So, Aamir, I have a question. Tim Payne is one of the Australian player that he sledges a lot, and Tim Payne never plays in IPL. Do you think there is some sort of connection, or it's like this question is out of book?
I don't think there's a connection to that, but there are a lot of players that play IPL and they sledge Indians in and out. I don't think there's any connection to Payne being a pain to Indian players. So. Yeah, I think the leagues, especially IPL and the other leagues, Big Bash. Like you see players who even in IPL itself or Big Bash itself, you see players going, yeah. So
should I say it's just being real Australian to sledge it?
Is there any Australian captain that's played the IPL? Maybe he's not allowed.
Oh
no, Clark played when he.
Did Clark play?
Shane Warne was not captain.
I don't remember actually.
Michael
I don't remember.
Maybe it's a good point.
Ricky
Did Ponting not play? Ponting played as well.
But he might not have been captain when he played.
They were not captain at the time. That's what it is.
Finch plays.
Oh yeah, Finch has played. Yes, that's.
Finch captain.
Yeah, Finch captain.
But Finch was playing IPL and then became captain. I think that's different.
I think yes, you're right.
No, he's been playing for almost 8 years.
Yeah.
Maxwell was playing captain.
He never captain, but he
I'm talking Test captain more than IPL.
Okay. Good point. Yeah, good point. I think maybe.
Very quickly, you all play cricket in Canada and Toronto or wherever, right? Who sledges most? Do you remember?
Dolphins.
What?
Centurions are pretty good.
Yeah, Centurions.
Yeah. I believe it's the Ghaznavis.
Ghaznavis is a good man. Yeah.
I remember playing in 2004-05 in TDCL, and a game was really tight, and it was evening to hard to see the ball, and they were sledging like hell.
But you know what? It was hard. Ghaznavi will talk to you after the game, though, right? It's on the field, they give it, and then afterwards it doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Farrukh, you know the art where to take attraction from the whole people. Yes, Sultan, you were saying who sledges most, or you?
I don't know. I had some experiences with the dolphin. They do. They do. But I'm not saying they're the most, but they do. I had a one match I remember in Iceland, and some of the guys moved from Mississauga Ramblers to Dolphin, and man, that match was exciting both ways.
Well, let's say it like this: it's not the club, but maybe the players. So you cannot play. You cannot control the players. But
I just want to say one thing before Kasser Bhai and Bajaj said, you are the club management people. You should take care of it. Okay. Anyway, yes. Aamir,
Kasser Bhai, are you taking note of this?
So you guys know that
it's fine. I'll deal with that.
Have any of you guys played against Moulton?
Yeah,
Moulton. I think no.
The old Moulton Cricket Club.
The old Moulton.
They were bad, man.
It was like you were going into an episode of Training Day or one of those TV shows.
Norman.
I think the worst sledge was for me personally was Centurions, because there are a couple of kids playing in that game. I'm usually an opener pretty much, but I was hitting them really nice. So this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Take your baseball somewhere else." I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, and I hit almost
Okay.
4 or 5 sixes in that game. But
So it's going to be a topic for the next one. But do you guys know
Correct.
that Sultan Khan was a professional wrestler?
Who?
I did some UFC.
Yes.
Oh,
That's why nobody
oh
stuck
wow,
with him.
I'm not sledging
okay.
you anymore, Sultan. That's
Okay,
all.
okay, guys. Again, I request Vajad Faizan and Kaisa Chaudhary, please note that Sultan Khan is a wrestler. Please tell Dolphins guys not to mess when they are in
Now,
Iceland. Okay.
you
Yes,
know,
Kaisa bhai.
when you are in the game, if somebody's not coming to your face saying something really bad, I don't really mind it. I remember playing in Regina, and I was hitting really good. I was middling the ball. The guy bowled me a ball and a half volley, and I gave him a real long on the mid wicket. The guy called him from the straight long off, and he goes, "Oh, bowl him short." He bowled me short, next two balls short, and they were two all sixes. And I said, "Is there any other ball left?" And that was my answer to the guy. Hey, is there any other ball left for the? You can try. So
Okay.
it increased interest, and like
And,
yes,
and I think as a Pant answered the sledge, whatever it was. Nothing better than doing it with your bat or your ball.
absolutely.
Performance speaks louder than anything else. And as
Sure.
far as the taking note of that, Mazhar, we take note of that. Don't worry.
And I believe
Okay.
that brings the best out of you. Trust me.
So
Shall
for
we-
the,
Yeah.
I remember one day I was swinging the ball so big, I just kept bowling the guys. I told the next batsman, "Don't bother bringing your bat out because it's a waste." Remember that, Sajjad?
Well, I'll tell you guys one time what happened is that we were playing against Toronto Cricket Club, and it was a pretty big game. And I think that the guy came out, he took leg guard, so Jeff started to bowl, and he stopped him. Then he took middle guard, so Jeff said, "Okay, I'm going to bowl." No. Then he said second leg.
He
And then
took
Jeff
he took
said,
off stump and then he took
Middle,
leg stump.
leg,
I
and
go,
then
"You
second
forgot
leg."
middle stump.
No. Then you said, "Why don't you take off stump too?"
Yeah.
And he went up to bat, and Jeff bowled him first ball, and Jeff said, "See, I told you should have taken off stump as well."
Okay. Before, yes, Aamir, last comment on this sledging, like in TDCA, like in Toronto. Do you see like same thing happening in MCL, or MCL is like, oh man, yes,
Oh no,
come
no,
on.
man. There are a lot of teams. I've played against Dolphin just recently in 100 ball tournament. Punjabi Royals, and that they are like arch nemesis for marbles. So I've seen them, give Punjabi sledging. That's like a next level of sledging.
Oh, that's icing on the top.
I don't even understand that much.
So finally,
Yeah.
Indians took a catch.
Yep.
Okay, that's okay. Let's go back. I think we have a couple of minutes left. Okay, quickly, couple of last questions. What India needs to do, starting from Sultan, the second day.
Yeah, I think now six are down. I think they would try their best to make bowl them out and play some cricket starting today, because unfortunately weather is not going to be favoring this test match. That's what India needs to do if they still want to be in the game. If they let it be until some part of the day tomorrow, then pretty much there'll be not much of a tournament. I mean, not much of a test match for coming days.
Yeah, yes, Kasser.
I
What
think
India needs to do today?
I go with both. I think Australia needs to wrap up, like they have to run some quick runs, and India just has to be patient. Right now they can go to a defensive mode, can stop the runs. That's all they can do for now, and they have to bat big for the first inning at least to match up the score. If Australian got 150 plus lead, that'll be very hard to
Sure.
win back to India.
Okay, Vajad, specifically for today, what's the India like short objective or goals?
Well, I think they've taken their catches. The first thing they should have been doing from what they've learned from yesterday was to take catches. If they come their way, they started well. The only way India can survive in this test match is to play time. India has to play time in this test match, be it their bowling, be it their batting, fielding, however they want to do it. And as Aamir already pointed out, I've also checked on the weather. It's the same. I mean, there is 75% chance of rain on day 4 and day 5. So if India is able to play time today and tomorrow, I think they should be relatively comfortable, even if there is stop and go. That would never build their momentum and rhythm for Australian bowlers to pick up 20 wickets going into this Test series. So I do feel odds favor India since the last day of Sydney Test. But what transpires out, only time will tell.
I think this is why they don't play Brisbane in January. It's not that it's just a fortress, but I think that it rains a little more. This is the first time since the 1930s they're playing in Brisbane in January.
In January, because they always used to play a Boxing Day Test match
November.
in later part of December, or maybe November.
November is when they play in Brisbane.
Correct. Okay, Sultan Bhai, before I ask you, so finally saying Sultan Bhai is the best. Do you agree, or you want to say what India needs to do
No
today?
doubt about it.
What are you talking about? Sultan Bhai is the best?
I know.
We all say Sultan is the best.
Sultan, I know for sure. Finally, does not belongs to your in-laws.
No, it does not. It does not.
Guys, he's talking about Salman Khan movie Sultan. Yes, Sultan Bhai, what do you think about India?
What about India? What
needs to do today?
No, I did mention a little bit that they need to definitely bowl Australia out and start batting today and the day tomorrow, and then put them into a situation where if the game goes on to a fourth and fifth day, then there's a chance of draw. But if it doesn't happen and Australia goes all the way until playing the most part of the day tomorrow, then it's going to be very much a one-sided thing.
Okay. Yes, Mickey, do you think India have a chance to restrict Australia within 400? I will come back. My last question will be on the scoring of specific how Australia is going to score. What do you think, Mickey?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, going with what everyone's saying about the weather as well. Well, when I played in Adelaide, it was more hotter and dry. Brisbane and Sydney was more like humid, but the weather blows out really quickly. So even if it rains for a bit, it blows away quickly because of the humid and the windiness that that area has. But yes, the short-term goal would be bowl Australia out for under 400, 420, 440, and try to get at least 1 or 2 wickets early. That would be Australia's goal as well. But yeah, that would be my day.
Yes, Sajjad, your thoughts on India plan today?
Oh, it's exactly what I think Mickey is saying. They got to restrict them below 400. If they start climbing to 450, 500, then it's going to be really hard. I see they've taken a 6th wicket, so I think they have a good chance. But Cameron Green, he's batting very well. I don't know if he'll get much support, but if he does, they should be able to take it at least to 400. India doesn't want to see them going too far ahead of that. And then after that, try to see how they can get through the rest of the day with the minimal amount of wickets. I think Mickey is right about another thing. Even if they do get rain, it's not going to be a rain that washes out the whole day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Kasabhai, quickly, then I have another question, but just quickly comments on India plan.
I believe as they have to bowl the Australian out. If Australia cross 400, that they will be playing aggressive. And another thing I'm looking at, Australian pace attack will gonna surprise India in this inning. I tell you.
Okay. Starting from Aamir, Australia, how much they gonna score first inning, or they just gonna bat first inning? So 2 questions. Answer like how much they gonna score, A, and B, are they gonna bat one time or they just go for the second inning as well?
I think they're probably going to score aggressively now. So I'm going to bet they're probably going to chase a target between 370 to 400. I'm not sure if they would be successful because I think Stark can hit the ball, but apart from Pat Cummins and Stark, I don't see Hazelwood or Leon making any a good addition to the score itself. But in terms of are you talking about the follow-on, or are you talking about?
I'm talking about what do you think that Australia gonna score first inning? Just
That's
specify number.
370 to 400, I think.
Yes, Jeff. Your comment on Australia's score. Are you still confident? I think yesterday
Well,
you said
actually,
375.
just on your other comment, I think India don't have to do anything. Australia got to win the test. They've got to be the aggressor through the whole thing. So they really need to tee up. And I think
check it down.
if this rain's coming, which Brisbane will hold the weather, they need to be the aggressor through the whole test because India just need to bat it out, and they can do that. So I think, 360, 370, as it was already mentioned, and bowl at them tonight to try and get 3 quick wickets. They've got to bowl India out twice to win this. So they've got to be the aggressor through the whole thing. So they've got to be aggressive. They've got to start hitting now.
Green gone.
Yeah, so it's 3-1-3 for 7 now.
Okay. Kasser, quickly, Australia, how many runs?
375 plus.
375 plus. I mean, till 450.
450's out now. Now Green's out.
Obviously,
They could be out for 350 here.
But as I said, Australians are right now, even they are safe. Whatever the score they have done, they're in kind of a safe zone. They won't going to let Indian to take any lead. I'm positive on that.
Okay. Yes, Farrukh bhai, quickly. Mute. You are mute.
I'm going to stick to my score what I said yesterday, about 350 plus minus.
350 plus minus. Wajat, Fazan, MWF.
I think it's now the evidence is less than 350, around 340, 350. This will be what Australia could get unless Stark starts hitting. Well, that's nobody knows that. But I think now Australia will be batting 2 times in this game.
Oh, are you saying Australia gonna bat 2 times? Let's see tomorrow. Yes, Sultan.
Yeah, I think they're gonna try to do 340 and stuff because they're gonna start hitting and they're gonna lose wickets as well, and they're gonna prepare for the next inning.
Okay. Yes, Sajjad bhai.
340, 350 is what I think they'll get.
340, 350. Okay. Who's left? Mickey.
Yeah,
Me?
I said 350, 340. I mean, between 350 to 400. Sorry.
Okay, I just want to say, guys, remember what Clark said. Because Australia don't sledge anymore because it is proved that if they're gonna sledge, they're gonna lose millions of dollars. Okay, guys, see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow.